We went thrifting the other week, and although it's been pretty expensive lately, like this nightstand for 99 bucks, we did find this gorgeous dresser, and it was only $50. Solid wood. Unfortunately, missing a few handles. We took it home and unloaded it, then started planning what we were going to do. For this project, we used Clean Slate, 1 Hour Miracle Paint, the One Step Paint, the Clear Wax, some different brushes by Amy Howard, and also their Furniture Tonic. With our orbital sander, we did start with an 80 grit all over the entire piece. We then switched over to a 120 grit to get a little bit smoother. And in some of the areas that we were going to be leaving bare, we did with a 220. We got out a foam pad and did the same thing for the curved pieces on all of the drawers. We then removed all of the hardware. It's much easier to do this if you have an electric screwdriver. It's ideal to do this all at once so you don't lose any of the pieces. And we always make sure to put them in a safe, secure spot afterwards. We kept ours inside this old sour cream bowl.
We're going in with Clean Slate. After it dries, we are going to paint it with the 1 Hour Miracle Paint in Hugo Gray.
So this is our first product we'll use, the Clean Slate.
All right, you want to saturate this really, really well when you do this. So we're going to get really saturated. Wipe that off.
I'm going to use a lint-free cloth.
Lint-free.
Then let it sit 5 minutes.
And then we're going to wipe off the residue with a dry cloth.
As you can probably tell, it's a very potent product, so you want to make sure you have proper ventilation. We made sure to do all of the drawers as well.
After this has dried for 5 minutes, we'll be able to put on this 1 Hour Miracle Paint. You don't have to prep and no sealing. We like to clean the product anyway, but it's tough enough to go on cabinets and doors.
You want to make sure with any paint that you open up that you always use a clean stick to stir up all of the sediments. And if you think you've stirred enough, just stir a little bit more. We use this quick tape hack to help pour a little easier. And you can line your trays with plastic to make cleanup a little easier as well. We then removed every single drawer, got prepared to paint the body first. Used some foam rollers from Amy Howard, and we made sure to roll off the excess. As you can tell here, even on the first layer, the coverage is incredible with the 1 Hour Miracle Paint. It's very easy to work with, and it goes on so smooth. Between the two of us and 2 rollers, it took about maybe 10 minutes to do the entire body, including the frame parts. Using the same roller and techniques, we did each of the drawers as well, making sure to get the edges on each side.
Okay, so next up we are going to whitewash these top drawers with the One Step Paint in the color Barnboard.
This is another water-based paint that doesn't require any priming, no prep work, and no top coat. We like to have a pretty watery paint wash mixture, so we start with paint, and the tub already has some water in it. Again, we stir the paint until it needs more stirring. Then you can just use the stick to slowly add until your consistency and color is exactly what you're looking for. This watery white is just what we're looking for.
So when you whitewash, you want to get everything ready. We have our mister ready, we have our microfiber towel ready, and we have our 2-inch wedge brush that we're going to use to brush the whitewash on, and then we're going to wipe it off with the towel.
We find it goes on smoother if you use a mister, but you do not have to have one. You can skip that step and just saturate it pretty well with the whitewash. We tend to paint with the grain and wipe off with the grain as well, being sure to cover all of the edges equally. Now that it's covered, we wipe across the grain back and forth, and this can take a couple of layers. You can add on if you want it to be a little bit whiter. We just always make sure to let it completely dry before deciding to add the next layer.
Here's the difference between the whitewash and the regular natural. So on our whitewash drawers, we're going to use this clear wax to protect it and have a nice smooth finish on it.
Here's the clear wax we'll be using. It helps to give a nice clear sheen to painted pieces and wood that we want to revive. We applied it pretty liberally to all of the whitewash drawers.
After the wax has been on for about an hour, you want to buff it with a microfiber towel. It should be super shiny afterwards. Going in with a super fine grit sandpaper and sanding every layer after we paint it.
We only had to do this twice as this paint only required 2 coats.
Then you want to give it a really good wipe down.
So even though we were able to save the center knobs, the outer pulls, we were missing 2 of the original pieces and we couldn't find replacements, so we did have to order some new ones. We wanted to add an extra fun detail on the sides of the drawers, so we got this stencil from Amy Howard Home as well. It's a simple floral design. You just choose the sticky side and press down firmly and evenly across the top. Next, you get your paint of choice. We went with the same paint that we did for the whitewash on top of the drawers. We worked it carefully into the mesh so it would just leave a light layer underneath. And we were very careful along the edges. You can also use tape as a safety precaution. This was probably the most satisfying process of the entire flip. It was very fun to see how the stencil turned out. Pro tip is to clean it right afterwards so there's no drying and it's easy to reuse. To spiff up the drawers, we went in with the Furniture Tonic. We got our microfiber towel wet and you can see how immediately it refreshes and rejuvenates the wood. We went and did this with all the drawers and the sides. The last thing we did was use this gold embellishing wax. We wanted to make sure all of the handles and pulls looked the same, so we just did a little touch up on those and the knobs. You can see now the middle pulls are less brassy and match the gold. And before we list our piece, we always stage. You want to look for good lighting and nice accents that aren't going to overshadow the piece. It truly does help with our pieces selling a lot faster online. And here is the finished product. The Miracle Paint in Hugo just goes so well with the whitewash top drawers. Just a reminder of what it looked like before and after, including the detailed pieces on the side of the drawers. We love how this piece turned out. It's really versatile. It could go in so many different homes, rooms. This one sounds like it might likely go into a nursery. Let us know your thoughts in the comments and follow us for more one-part flips and tips.